again from Anneliese's Anneliese's Creations. Last week for my year 2017, I altered a children's wood block for taking what could be considered your trash and making it treasure, and I'm on a roll. So I decided to do one for myself again for my YouTube channel, and I got this piece that looks like a little bridge, and I've cut out a section from an old London map that I found at, there's a place in San Francisco called Scraps. It's a upcycle, recycle place for artists as well as for teachers, and you can find all kinds of goodies there. And they had a whole bunch of maps the last time I went, so I picked out quite a few European maps because I used to live in Europe and have been to many of these places and thought, oh, these are awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to use, if you can't see that, it says London Bridge. So I'm trying to capture that word somehow onto this block. So I'm going to flip it over, and hopefully I've gotten that one, the London Bridge, on there. And I'm just tracing around it with my Stabilo All pencil. And then I'm going to cut it out, and hopefully I've gotten that word there. And I can always even the edges out later. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. And I think I'm just going to use some matte medium this time, because this is just a very, not a very firm type of paper. It's kind of flimsy. It's kind of thin. So I don't really need a thick medium of any sort to do this with. So yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and add this on. And I'm probably going to have to wipe off the excess in a minute. But I first want to get this on. It looks like I did get the London Bridge on there. Yay! And I always take a card, like if I'm working on a flat surface and I want this to glue flat, I go ahead and run a card, or like a old credit card or gift card or something like that, to get it to go on there, to flatten out the whatever I'm trying to glue on. And then I'm going to have to wipe off the excess. And then I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll come back in and work on it some more. And I think I'm gonna come in and glue this part down as well, have it kind of overlap the edges like that. So I'm gonna come in before I turn my camera off while I let this dry. I'm going to add some extra medium to it. There's a little texture on it I don't mind too much. because I like the imperfections, like I've said before, because it looks like it's handmade. It's not machine made, and I like that. And before I did, adhered this to the surface, I went ahead and sanded it down a little bit, just so that to rough up the block a little bit, because it was painted with some non-toxic paint for kids. These are my kids' old blocks, wood blocks. And so I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll come back later. And sorry about my dogs barking. Alright, so it's dry, and I went ahead and sanded the top down a little more and wiped off the excess. Now I'm going to come in with some StazOn ink in the blazing red, and I'm going to go along the edges of the matte part with the red ink. Alright, just like that, and then I'll be right back with something else. So I'm going to paint the top of this with some raw umber. There's a reason why I'm painting it this color, okay? Now I might have to put a couple of coats on, and I need to wipe off the excess from the front because I don't want that there. Alright, I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to let it dry, and I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so one of my lovely friends, Diane Babcock, sent me some things in the mail a while ago. I shared them with you on my YouTube channel, and I went ahead and cut these out kind of to size, because I'm going to glue this on either side of it. Alright, but this time it's a little bit of a thicker paper, so I'm going to go ahead and use some gel medium for this one. And then I'll cut it to size after it dries. Hey, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Ha 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 ha. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on this side once this side dries, and I'll do the other one off camera, so I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, so in this section I'm using some modeling paste through some stencils for each side of the block, and so yeah, so enjoy the process. Alright, so in this section, I'm taking some Distress ink and going over the kind of smeared modeling paste. When I had done the other side, I hadn't made sure that the previous side was completely dried, so it kind of smushed it and smeared it, but that's okay. It kind of gives it a grungy look. And I decided I didn't like the brown ink that I was applying, the Distress ink, so I went back to the Ranger, I can't remember the name of it, the ink at the moment, but I went back to the black and went back over it using a makeup sponge to kind of give it a more distressed look. And unfortunately, I wasn't making sure that I was in camera, in the screen, when I was doing this, so I apologize for that. Alright, so in this section I'm showing you a little omnibus that I've had since I was a child. It is actually originally from England. It was made by London in England for Matchbox, actually, and which is was a toy company that made little cars. So that's pretty much what this is, and I've kept this omnibus for years. It was in a little shadow box that I've had for years, full of miniatures, and I decided, well, I think it would look really cool on top of this block. So that is what I am doing with the Anneliese tacky glue, and I was struggling with it at first, and then I ended up turning the camera off. You'll see in a few minutes that I turned the camera off and went ahead and did it off camera, and then walked away and let it dry overnight to make sure that it was absolutely going to stay on that block. So you'll see my end result in a few minutes. Alright, so I took a number from one of the Tim Holtz line. It's a replica of a bingo marker number. And I went ahead, and of course I'm not looking to see that I'm off camera, but I'm actually taking the number and rolling it through the ink, and then decided that that wasn't working, so I took a makeup sponge and dipping the makeup sponge on top of the ink stamp, and then going ahead and applying it to the edge of this number. And then you'll see where I'm going to glue this in a minute. Alright, so I glued this off camera using Anneliese tacky glue, and this is the end result of taking a children's wood block and altering it. Instead of tossing them out, you could create a little city. So far I have this one, I have this one, the house that I created for my year 2017. I did this one, and I was just loving it so much that, enjoying my process of it, that I made this one. So I may do some more off camera and come back and share with you. I hope that you enjoyed what you saw, and if you like what you see, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And I shall see you next time. Thanks for watching. Toodles. Have a wonderful day. Bye.